You know, there are times when being the film critic for what's primarily a gaming site feels sort of like it must feel to be the science reporter for an Amish newspaper. You just know it's only a matter of time before one of your dueling disciplines does something to piss the other one off, and suddenly you may as well be a 6-year-old wondering if mom and dad have finally had enough of each other and you're about to be the subject of a visitation rights argument. Hollywood and the video game world have existed in a state of mutual animus and envy for the better part of the last decade, with gaming trying harder and harder to become the movies while grumbling about how the other guy gets all the artistic accolades, while the movies blindly grab to cash in on gaming's bigger franchises, even while they grumble on about how the other guy's pandering, one-dimensional schlock has started to outsell their pandering, one-dimensional schlock. On the gaming fan side, a lot of the bitterness centers on the subject of adaptation, or phrased more colloquially, why does Hollywood keep ruining games when they turn them into movies? Without rehashing belabored points like that the precise difference between most movies based on games and the games they were based on is merely varying flavors of stupid, it eventually comes down to a pervading belief among many gamers that Hollywood has some specifically targeted disrespect for the medium, a premise I find kind of dubious. Right now, someone is putting up millions of dollars for Baz Luhrmann to make The Great Gatsby 3D. Hollywood doesn't respect anything, folks. Besides, as of yet, none of the gaming properties I could even see having the potential to make good movies have even been given a shot, so as far as I'm concerned, there really isn't much evidence either way. Anyway, the whole storm has come up again because director David O. Russell's currently in development movie based on the successful PS3 franchise Uncharted, so we might as well get into that. I'll preface this by saying that in the interest of full disclosure, I have not played all the way through either of the Uncharted games, mostly because I can't justify buying a PS3 when I already have 2 other consoles and a Blu-ray player, and there's maybe only 2 exclusive series for it that I'm especially interested in playing. Fortunately for me, gameplay doesn't really factor into the prospective movie. A movie is primarily about adapting visuals and story, and the visuals and story of Uncharted I can just watch, which I have. So, the big hullabaloo is that Russell's broad definition of the film's story and setup don't sound like a precise translation from that of the game. In fact, it sounds different enough to make one suspect that Russell and/or the film's producers are less interested in making an Uncharted movie than they are in just making a movie with the theoretically marketable Uncharted brand name. On the one hand, I can understand the trepidation. Filmmakers buying a property just for the name and then rebuilding it into something else entirely is partially how we got the abominable Transformers movies. On the other hand, all movies are not created equal, and as much as certain individual changes irked me, the Transformers movies don't suck because the characters and mythology have been altered, they suck because they were made by Michael Bay. David O. Russell, whatever else can be said about him, is not Michael Bay. He's an Academy Award-nominated filmmaker. He made Three Kings, I Heart Huckabees, and The Fighter. This is a major, major talent. Easily the most artistically accomplished Western filmmaker ever to take on a game-based property. Uncharted could easily have wound up being made by Mick G. or Brett Ratner, but instead it's being made by a real, serious filmmaker. From where I sit, that means perhaps gamers could stand to extend at least the benefit of the doubt and be happy that someone at this level wants to make a game film before complaining that Nathan Drake's hair isn't parted on the right side. Also, if I may put on the just my opinion hat for a moment, when people say they're worried that Russell is going to ruin the alleged story of Uncharted, can I ask what story that is? I mean, yes, Uncharted has a good story, ... for a Western-developed video game, which in movie terms means its writing is about on parallel with any given late-period Steven Seagal opus. Look, I know it's customary to bend over backwards in praise of any game with a storyline that can't be summarized in a pre-title text dump, but let's get real. Uncharted on a narrative level is precisely as complex and nuanced as asking, what if Indiana Jones were contemporary and also a giant douchebag? And straightforward movie adaptation of just that would almost certainly play out like a third-rate National Treasure knockoff, if it were lucky. Look, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be good. Frankly, I don't think the truly great video game movie will happen for some time, and I'm doubtful that even David O. Russell is skilled enough to make me give a crap about Nathan Drake in any context. I'm just saying that a game is a game, a movie is a movie, and of all the prospective films to be preemptively down on, I can think of much better candidates than this. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.